Hi everyone, it's James here. Welcome to another video, and we're sat in the garden today. Nice spring afternoon. So just a quickie today. I have been playing the drums again recently, just helping out a friend of mine who's done some recording. He's doing some recording of some songs he's written, and he asked me if I would play the drums on the tracks. So I've been down to a studio in the middle of nowhere here in Lancashire to play a beautiful handmade drum kit, and it was the first time I played the drums in probably about 5 years. So I had a great time, played drums on a couple of songs, and then, as you'll have seen, I had a bit of a bash around, and Paul did some filming, my friend did some filming, and I was feeling a little bit on the rusty side, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know whether I'm going to go back to playing again, but I did enjoy it, and it got me thinking about my past as a drummer. You know, I played for years and years. I first started playing when I was a student in my third year. I played the drums all the way through the 90s in various Leeds bands. Knocked it on the head in about 2003-04 when I started a family. Had another stint a bit later on playing in a band here in Lancaster called the Bootstraps. We used to, you know, do the pub circuit, and we used to do quite a bit of busking as well. That was good fun. But I don't know whether I'll go back to it, but I did enjoy playing a couple of weeks ago, and it just got me thinking about my drumming influences and certain songs, or you know, albums, music I listened to growing up that influenced me. I was about 20 when I actually first started playing properly. I'd had a drum kit when I was 15. I bought a drum kit from my cousin Mark. I never really learned to play it. I was asked to play drums in a band at school, but thank God they didn't actually hold me to it, because I really couldn't play it very well at all. But I'd always been interested in playing the drums. When I was a small child, got a very clear memory of listening to She Loves You by the Beatles, as sung by Pinky and Perky on this little EP that I had. And I just got this memory of just banging this, I think it was a toy golf club that I had, just banging it on the floor in time to the music. And then a bit later on, when I was more like maybe 7 or 8, I had a bamboo cane, and the reason I had it was I had been given a book for Christmas. It was a book of magic tricks, and you had to have a magic wand. So my mum made me a magic wand, or gave me this stick that was going to be my magic wand, and I was totally useless at these magic tricks. I couldn't do it at all. But I used to use the stick. I used to bang it repeatedly. I had one of those boxes for 45s, a blue box with a sort of, you know, hinged lid, and I can't honestly say exactly which records I used to do it to, but I think there's a good chance I used to bang that repeatedly while listening to the album Queen Live Killers. Got a feeling that was one that you know, I definitely used to just get that banging out of my system. You know, Roger Taylor was such a huge influence on me, and so long before I was playing the drums, you know, I was doing that classic thing that drummers always do, you know, pots and pans and that kind of thing. When I was about 16, I did the whole thing. I used to lay cushions and pillows on the bed and sit down with headphones on, and I basically learned to play by listening to Out of the Blue by ELO, because that record, the beats are all quite simple, quite straightforward. Turn to Stone has got that shuffle rhythm to it, which I was able to master. Not the feet, obviously, I was just playing with hands, but I'm fairly certain that from just, you know, playing on the pillows to that album, I'd got the basics essentially. And when I finally got a drum kit, and I joined a band at college, at uni, it did kind of feel like I'd sort of already learned to play a little bit. Later on I had a few lessons here and there, but I was mainly self-taught. Anyway, so I thought I'd run through a few tracks here. I think there are 10 that were particularly useful to me, or particularly inspirational to me, once I'd actually properly started playing the drums. So let's run through these and see where we get to. So the song Dazed and Confused by Led Zeppelin was a really, really inspirational track to me, just because of the slow. It's got a real slow, I think it's a 6/8 groove, and John Bonham plays these really outrageous, flamboyant triplet fills. And I've got a memory of you know, I think it was a CD, putting the CD back, listening again, just trying to work out how he was playing the triplet fills over that 6/8 rhythm. That really baffled my mind for a long time, but I got there in the end with that one. Another track right about the same time, this was probably in about 93, 94, when I was already up and running and playing in bands, but the track Fire from the first Jimi Hendrix Experience record, that had a major impact on me really, just because of Mitch Mitchell's absolutely explosive snare drum sound on that track, playing these really fast, amazing, precise drum tattoos really, or rolls on the snare drum, and you know, doing it in between the beats and the bars. Absolutely brilliant. What a fantastic drummer he was. Going back to Queen, the song Keep Yourself Alive from the first Queen album, that one has got some really outrageous flamboyant playing from Roger Taylor, where he does, you know, big rolls around the kit, and it's just really amazing sort of shapely drum fills, which I used to try and copy. I never really got very far with that. You know, Roger was just so flamboyant. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, so those were the sort of, I mean, those were the sort of big rock ones that I remember. A little bit later on, I bought the Atlantic Soul compilation. I think it was called Atlantic Soul Classics, and most of the songs on that record had a big, profound impact on me. But the first track on that album in particular, which is Sweet Soul Music by Arthur Conley, I'm not entirely sure who it is on the drums. It might be Al Jackson, I can't honestly say, but it's got a real propulsive, driving sound with a just really driving right hand on the hi-hat, and it was my first proper exposure to soul drumming. I got really into Al Jackson Jr., who played with Otis Redding, and you know, I used to play along to all that stuff. I also used to play along quite a bit to, I had a Fats Domino live record, or a live CD actually, which I used to play along to a lot, and that got me into, you know, some more interesting music, second line rhythms they call it. Another one for that, or there were two songs, City Strut by the Meters, which I picked up on CD. This would have been in the mid-90s, and Zigaboo Modelis, their drummer, he just had this amazing way of playing second line New Orleans rhythms on the drum kit. Don't think I ever learned how to play that song properly, but I used to do my own approximation of it. And the song Junko Partner as well by Dr. John, he used the Meters on a couple of his records. I think they're on that one, not entirely sure. I know that they're on Right Place, Wrong Time and Decisively Bonnaroo as well, those two records, which I used to listen to a lot. That kind of funky sound was just you know, really influential on me. I kind of learned from them that, you know, you don't need to do a huge amount of stuff. I never really learned to do a lot of what you might call drum licks or tricks. You know, I used to know drummers who could do all these amazing hand-feet combinations. I never really went down that technical route, but I did used to like some of these funky records. And then just a couple of real big ones. Actually, early on, I've come out of order a little bit, but when I first started playing, it was in the early 90s, and the indie rock drum beat was everywhere. It was when Blur's album had just first come out. I had that on CD, and I remember trying to play. There's a couple of songs on that album. There's No Other Way, which has that classic shuffling rhythm where you have to kind of play the snare drum on a sort of offbeat in and around the hi-hat. And there's another track on that record too, the second track, can't remember what it's called, but that also has that shuffling rhythm, and that really baffled me for a long time, how to actually do that shuffly thing. But just prior to that, actually, a song which I learned to play, which was a big one for me, was the Black Crowes version of Hard to Handle, which has that drum beat, and I got a great memory of finally mastering that in the rehearsal room. It was just me and my friend Phil, and he'd been trying to sort of coach me a little bit. I mean, he couldn't play the drums really, but he kind of, you know, he wanted to play that song, and we tried to play it, and it was just so exciting when I finally got that slightly delayed snare beat, or is it an early snare beat? I'm not entirely sure, but just a great moment of you know, power, and just feeling like, oh yeah, I can really do this. So yeah, the indie drum beat. It was also on the version of Dizzy that Vic Reeves did with The Wonder Stuff. That was one of the first songs I ever played in public. I made a right hash of it. It was terrible. So yeah, I'm sure there are others. Oh yeah, so a real big one. In about '93, the song "L.A. Woman" by The Doors just absolutely blew my mind. The way that John Densmore played that groove, just very fast, very smooth, and he just got his right hand on the right cymbal just to glide. So much power, so much precision. His drum fills, really precise, just really well played. And the way that he gradually speeds up in that middle section, in that Mojo Rising section, and just brings the band with him in his slipstream. It was just absolutely majestic. And I remember my parents were away one weekend, and I drove all the way back to their house and set the drums up in the living room and blasted "L.A. Woman" through my dad's huge hi-fi, and just laid sort of towels over the drum kit and tea towels and stuff to try and dampen them down a bit. And I sat there playing along with this song "L.A. Woman," and yeah, just a really seminal moment. So yeah, that will do. I think there were definitely others, but those are the main ones I wanted to talk about. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the clip of me bashing around. Like I said, I'm quite rusty, and I don't know whether I'm gonna get back into doing it again. But I did enjoy it, so thanks, Paul, for spurring me onto that. All right, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.